Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe this channel. Before going into the discussion about Captain Shivkumar's comments on losing fighter jets, and again I request you please subscribe this channel. Try to follow my channel. Even my thoughts and my understanding about Indian politics also, I may reach to few people with my limited knowledge, of course. Captain Shivkumar, our Indian attaché, made few statements in Indonesia about losing the fighter jets during our Indian military confrontation with the Pakistan military recently in retaliation to the Pakistan terror attacks. He made a statement that India lost some fighter jets on the opening day of the recent military confrontation due to initial restrictions imposed by the politicians. Here one thing we need to understand is that it's something like our Indian cricket team playing on the ground. The efforts made by Indian cricket team, it is undebatable, it is unquestionable effort the Indian team will make on the ground. So there's no question about it. Because the Indian team will have freedom to play, to strategize, how to counter their opponents under the leadership of the captain, Indian cricket team captain. So once they are in the ground, they will change their strategies, they make plans, play against their opponent. But here question comes if BCCI or the coach or some cricket officials give some instructions how to play, how to strategize, if that impacts the win or lose, or impact losing wickets, or impacts losing some runs, it's definitely questionable. It's debatable. Because the team who is playing on the ground, we should give freedom to strategize. If management involves in the game, then we lose some wickets, we lose some runs. So it is debatable. The same way like here, the Indian army who confront with the military of enemies, their efforts, their strategies, their caliber, their capacity, their intelligence, undebatable, unquestionable. We should salute, every Indian should salute to the Indian army who made some efforts protect the dignity of India fighting with Pakistan. But here the debatable question has come that did political decisions influence losing fighter jets? Here the question is not on the Indian army, it is question on the politics. Did the political involvement, did the politicians' instructions cause losing some fighter jets? This is actually the debate. This is in the context of Jaishankar, who said we have informed to the Pakistan before starting of the operation. That is one strategic mistake questioned by the opposition parties. And also CDS Chauhan earlier what he said, that we made some strategic mistakes in the beginning, so we lost few fighter jets. And now the Captain Shivkumar, he said, due to political restraints, we lost few jets in the beginning. These three contexts that talks about the political restriction, political involvement, political guidelines, is that reason to lose fighter jets with Pakistan? That is the debate here. That is the debate opposition party is trying to raise to discuss in India. Let us not talk about 1975 emergency, which held 50 years ago. Okay. This is the incident that took place recently. This is the actual debate that every Indian should talk about according to the opposition parties. If you go back and see what happened exactly, Pakistani terrorists killed 26 innocent civilians in Pahalgam, but India reacted very seriously. Our Indian army destroyed 9 terrorist infrastructure camps in Pakistan. But during the confrontation, Pakistan army or Pakistan foreign affairs minister, once he claimed that we shot down 6 Indian fighter jets. This is the claim made by Pakistan initially. Pakistan information minister, Atullah Tarar, he said we shot down Indian fighter jets. Pakistan Prime Minister, he claimed, using our J-10 defense system, we shot down India's French-made Rafale jets. Later, the same Prime Minister, he said, no, not 3. We shut down 4. Chinese newspaper, Chinese media, that is Global Times, has posted that Indian fighter jets were shot down by Pakistan. Pak military spokesperson Ahmad Sharif Chowdhury, he said few warplanes downed in India. So these are all the statements that has come from our enemy camp. And most of us thought they are spreading fake news because they are our enemy. Our enemy might be spreading fake news. Initially, we all thought these are all as part of spreading fake news to down the image of India. But later, US officials, intelligence department, they have announced that at least 2 fighter jets of India shot down. And another US official, he said, at least 1 French-made fighter jet shot down. This information has come from US officials. Chinese-made Pakistani defense system shot down India's fighter jets. And another person said the French-made Indian fighter jets shot down. So these are the statements from the foreign countries. But our Indian officials also made few statements. Like Director General A.K. Bharati, what he said when he was asked a question about losing fighter jets, he said, see, in the combat scenario, losing fighter jets part of it. So that means an indirect indication that we lost few. And earlier, CDS Anil Chauhan, sitting in the Singapore media, when he was asked that did India lose 5 fighter jets, he said, losing 5 fighter jets, the information is incorrect. Initially, we lost few fighter jets as part of a strategic mistake. That's what he said, as a part of a strategic mistake. Initially, we lost few, but not 5. That means he confirmed that few fighter jets were lost. And yesterday, again, the Captain Shiv Kumar sitting in the Indonesian conference, and he made this statement that when Indonesian experts said 3 Rafale jets and 1 MiG-29, a Sukhoi 30, these fighter jets were shot down by Pakistan. When the Indonesian official made this statement, as counter to that statement, our Indian attaché, Captain Shiv Kumar, said, it is not correct what the Indonesian officials have said. We have lost few fighter jets initially due to political constraint, that is restraints, due to political restraints. This is a controversial statement. That means the politicians restricted Indian Army in certain cases. So due to that, we lost few fighter jets. That is a debatable question here. He also explained, Shiv Kumar also explained that we are restricted to only target Pakistani camps, not on Pakistani military and not on Pakistani civilians. Of course, India might be thinking not to escalate the situation. Maybe India doesn't want to escalate the situation because 2 are nuclear powers. Non-escalation thought is always welcome, but not at the cost of our fighter jets, not at the cost of our Indian Army. That we need to understand. Here only the complaint by the political opposition parties is that you should have not given any instructions to Indian Army how to fight, whom to target, where to target. Attacking on the enemy is secondary. Saving our Indians are primary. Saving our Indian pilots, our Indian jets, it's most primary than attacking on our neighbors. Earlier also, the Reuters, the first international newspaper who claimed that 3 Indian jets noticed going down. For a few retired army officials also sitting on the YouTube podcast, they also said we also had some similar information. Here the debate is political decisions the reason that India lost fighter jets? Why politicians instructed Indian Army? Why politicians restricted Indian Army is the reason to lose the fighter jets is the question mark, is the question here. Losing fighter jets, as A.K. Bharati said, losing fighter jets is part of combat scenario. Nobody questions if fighter jets falls down. Nobody questions if our fighter equipments destroyed, our military losses happens. Nobody questions the sacrifice and fight of the army, but army. Why did politicians restrain Indian army? This is the question here. Opposition party was talking about it. This is in context of Jaishankar, who said we informed the Pakistan before starting of the Operation Sindoor, and also later this as this Shivkumar captain said, Indian restrained only terror base, no civilians, no Pakistani, no military. But remember that Pakistan doesn't have any such restrictions. They shut down our Rafale system. Shelling, they did shelling in Poonch and Jammu and Kashmir. 15 civilians was killed. When Pakistan doesn't have such limitations and not to kill our Indian civilians, not to attack our Indian military system, why does India should have such restrictions on our Indian army? So maybe this is one political mistake which is being questioned by the opposition parties. When India is not in the position to come out and say that how many fighter jets we lost, but there's no question of how many pilots were affected there. That question comes only after India confirms that fighter jets lost. The pilots, hopefully, no casualties to the pilots, hopefully, who are in the fighter jets, because the modern fighter jets almost are safe for the pilots. They can jump at any time during the emergency. They can escape from the casualties from the fighter jets, but still there are possibilities that after all it is a combat scenario where the opponent suddenly attacks or downs the fighter jets. If pilots are still in the fighter jet at the time of attack, there are possibilities of harming physically to the pilots. So that question comes only later if government comes openly and say that how many fighter jets we lost due to political guidance or political intervention in the army. This is the question here. This was again came for a discussion yesterday after Captain Shivkumar spoke in Indonesia. Thank you, Namaskar.